Hi, I'm Alice Sharples and I lead the nutrition program here at the South Sydney Rabbitohs, and this is what I do in a day. This is my second season at the Rabbitohs. Before this, I did 2 seasons at the New Zealand Warriors as well as other rugby teams in New Zealand. In total, this is my 5th season working in professional sport. My main role here is to really feed the athlete along with education around proper nutrition practices. Players can eat between 3,000 to 5,000 calories on their training days, which means they've constantly got to be eating and fueled up. Our day starts pretty early, so we're around here around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And the first thing I do is that I set up all the recovery stations for the day. This includes all their snacks. Or sometimes I have to go to the supermarket as well to grab all our produce that we order. And then in the mornings, what we do is I usually catch up with players, check in, depending if it's post-game or post another training day. We try and make sure that we're constantly checking in on what they're eating, how they're feeling, if we can improve it in any way. I then set up the hydration station up on the training field and make sure that we've got that all sorted for the day. Then what we'll do is that we bring down the food for lunch around at the end of training. This includes fresh fruit platters as well as something with high protein, high carbohydrates and a good amount of fats in there. Then throughout the day we'll do skim folds, body composition checks, one-on-ones with players and just make sure all the players are sorted depending on what training day it is. So with the game day that we just had, we had a 7:30 kickoff, so we arrived quite early because our cup game was also playing around 5 o'clock. Usually game day is a lot of waiting, and so we have to organise everything before the players arrive. That's all down to their supplements, their hydration, and also we have game day wraps come in prior to them arriving as well. The pre-game wraps are, since I've been here and they've been here for a very long time, a tradition from Rio Barra, and they're really simple wraps just made up of chicken, lettuce, cheese, mayo and a white wrap. And we really use them just because our players get there 2 to 3 hours before we kick off, and what we want to do is we just want to give them enough energy but nothing too complicated that's going to be too hard to digest. Part of my job is also making sure all athletes on their game day have their set game day routines, and some of them are actually quite funny about certain things that they do. We have one player who likes just to have 2 pickle juices for cramps put in his locker so that he can have those at the times that he wants. We've got another player that actually really likes his own drink bottle given to him as he walks into coach's talk before the match and at halftime, and it has to be given hand to hand, and he has a mixture that he gets every single game. If you can imagine, there's 18 of them and 1 of me, and we just have to make sure that they're all organised and they're all efficiently given at the time that they're needed. I get questions like, how do I cook, what do I do, all the time, and I did have a player recently move out of home and he didn't think he could cook, and he actually surprisingly could, which I was very, very proud of. A lot of the times, with especially our young athletes, when they're moving out of home or they're trying to cook for themselves, trying to get them to learn how to cook and shop and budget for food is one of the hardest things to do. So I do recommend that any young player, the first thing they do is get in the kitchen before they start any type of diet. Just make sure you start learning about food. But it's a constant struggle between the 10 minutes to get Uber Eats and just going to the supermarket and spending less money and making sure that you're eating really healthy. So yeah, a lot of the players, most of them can cook, but I think a few definitely need a few more cooking lessons.